Welcome to the VHS Vault. I am one of your hosts, VHS Jace, and next to me is our Jason Roy Gaston, the man the channel is named after. Tonight, Jace.
Whoop, whoop.
Tonight, we're talking Mac and Me.
What have you done?
I don't know. I'm feeling a lot of regret. Well, I think last week I was like rubbing my hands together in glee at the thought of you having to watch this. And now I kind of wish I hadn't put you through such torture. So anyway, well, you may not feel like that. So
yeah, you haven't heard my thoughts yet.
No, I have no idea. You've only just finished watching it, I believe. So,
yes, because you called and said, "Hey, we're filming tonight." And I was like, "Of course we are." Oh my god, I need to watch this movie now.
Now you haven't. This was the first time you've seen it.
No, it was not.
No, it was not. Okay,
No.
so you would have seen. I assume
there
was everything else.
I saw this movie in theaters. Wow. I was one of like 4 people in the world who saw this movie in theaters.
It's okay. There you go. And you obviously something happened because you've forgotten about it for so long, correct?
I remembered like little snippets of it. I mean, obviously there's the running gag that Paul Rudd would play on Conan O'Brien where he would play the same clip of Mac and Me. And of course, you know, there's the memes and there's the clips online. But yeah, as for the story, I did not remember a thing other than the weird whistling crap that the aliens would do. That was about it. Just a
Well, I saw this on video when everything else was out that evening. Everything had been rented out, and I grabbed this movie and watched it and remember hating it back then. Rewatching it now, this is, for me, this film is offensive. And I'll talk about it as we go along, but there are certain key points that I'm highly offended about in this film. Let's go through some of it. Like, just quickly, it was made in obviously 1988. It had a budget of $13 million, Jason, which is a substantial budget for 1988.
Yes, it is. Yes.
But
I'm assuming they were dollars. Yes,
they were dollars. They weren't pesos. And I will say this: you see every dollar on the screen.
You indeed do. You see every dollar that they had on screen, and you see every dollar that they didn't have on screen.
And it only ended up making at the box office $6.4 million. So it was a mistake. There's no doubt about it. Background. What do you know about the background of this movie?
So I do know that this was heavily sponsored by Coca-Cola and McDonald's. And I know that watching this movie, you would never guess that on the first view. But yes, Coca-Cola and McDonald's footed so much of the bill for this movie. I also know that Jade Caligari, the young man who plays Eric, is actually disabled. He suffers from spina bifida. That was something I did not know. So I thought, you know what? That's great casting, is to actually get a disabled person to play a disabled part. I'm always championing that. And other than that, what went on behind the scenes, I really had absolutely no idea. This was one of those
amounts of cocaine, Jason. Clearly.
Oh, yeah. And some kind of weird fetish.
Yeah.
A very weird, specific fetish.
Okay, you've already touched on the offensive part of this. Friggin' Coca-Cola is the life force for aliens? What kind of bull crap 80s capitalist kind of implant is that onto everyone? Good message for the kiddies, folks. If you want to live, drink Coke. And the other thing one of the other things that's super offensive, there's a lot to go through. The idea of a McDonald's, without jumping so far in ahead, when they do get to the McDonald's, it is like they're in The Wizard of Oz. It's a goddamn full throttle happy time musical in there with Ronald McDonald looking like a predator in the background. I couldn't believe how offended I was watching that. Because I'm like,
you got to admit,
crap.
You got to admit, at least they actually got the guy who was playing Ronald McDonald in the commercials to play Ronald McDonald in the movie. Because I just remember watching it thinking, oh my gosh, that's actually Ronald McDonald. That's amazing.
Doesn't make it any less creepy,
Ronald
Jason.
McDonald won a Razzie for this movie, by the way. Yeah.
I'm sure this film won lots of Razzies.
Do you think that some grieving child brought a Coca-Cola to their grandmother's funeral and was like, here you go, grandmother.
Probably.
Come back to life, grandmother. Why is everyone yelling at me, grandmother?
Probably. Who knows? Let's. Oh, mate, I'm thrown by this whole film. I really am. But the single biggest offensive thing, it is a blatant, not a parody. This is not a parody, nor this is a homage. This is a blatant ripoff of E.T.
Oh, most definitely.
There's so many specific scenes that are repeated throughout this film. And it's just like every instinct they had making this movie was the wrong instinct, as far as I'm concerned. Because it's this is what happens, Jason, when you give someone $13 million to make a film in $88 and they deliver this. Where was the checks and balances in this film? I have no idea.
You know, I'm gonna say something. And this is gonna be misconstrued. I know that you're gonna be just completely shocked by this. I've seen worse.
We have.
I
it doesn't excuse this.
I have seen worse. I've seen more blatant product placement. I mean, come on, Transformers. You remember the Nokia in Transformers?
Oh yeah, that was.
And
bad
the pill. The pill is going to be I honestly just kind of I don't know. I guess I'm just used to it by now. I don't really see. I just kind of see it as, well, this is what movies are now. I know that's not the way they were in '88, but I don't know. It's just a thing. I'm more. I think the stretch between when they went off looking for the mommy and daddy and baby alien,
dumbest aliens on the
dumbest aliens on the planet. I think I was more offended by just how boring that part of the movie was, because it was just. The script was just this. It's like, let's go here. Now let's go here.
You have one direction to go.
Here. Now let's go here. Now let's go over here. Now let's go down here. Oh, look. Have you got a Coca-Cola? Let's bring them back to life.
You had one direction to go, Jason, and they chose the desert.
Yeah. Because
they chose the desert. Like, when they just come from a planet that they were struggling to access liquids. They were sucking it through a straw in a hole in the ground.
Yeah. Was that Coca-Cola they were getting out of the ground? I'm just wondering.
Probably could be. Maybe that's where Coke comes from.
Is that who was sending the space probes? Were they just gathering more Coca-Cola? Did we even learn what those space probes were for, or what planet they were sending them to? Was NASA doing interstellar flights? Because I'm sorry, that's amazing.
I think they were, because I don't know if that was supposed to be Saturn in the background of that opening scene.
I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be Titan. Maybe the aliens are supposed to be. I don't know. And were they the only aliens there?
I think they were.
Whole planet. It's just that little.
And nobody
group?
missed them.
Yeah. Did they get kicked off of some other planet? Like, you've drank all of Coca-Cola. Get out of here.
Before we start moving forward, the giant miscalculation in this film, and I'm sorry, I will argue anyone in regards to this. The biggest miscalculation is the alien designs.
Oh my God. I was
this
uncomfortable.
Is god-awful.
It's uncomfortable to look at. First of all, okay, it's obvious that Mac is a doll. It's obvious. The way he runs is just...
Or the chase scene later in the car, in the little hobby car.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing that got me was the design of the adult aliens. Because why did they have to go with flesh-colored, skin-tight, like... I wanted to just take my children and just go, no, you can't watch this. This is weird. And the faces that never move, the wide eyes, just...
Well, the eyes that move directionally, and I'm not convinced it was on purpose. I think it was poor special effects. Why the eyes didn't always move the way they should. Look, here's the problem. They look like they have an anus for a mouth.
Okay, I'm glad you said it. I'm glad you said it.
Because it's there. It's there, all right?
It is. It is. Maybe it wasn't Saturn. Maybe it was...
do it.
Uranus.
Yeah, I'll go with that. But think about the design of it, and then let's on the screen now. Let's have ET not the CGI ET. Let's look at 1982 ET, right? And then we look at these aliens. You see where they've stolen elements. They go, oh well, the alien's got to have big eyes.
Yeah.
All right, let's do big eyes. But we can't have it like ET. So instead of a sunken in face, we'll give him bloated cheeks. Oh, and ET didn't have ears, but we'll give our guys ears. What kind of ears? Let's steal them from Yoda.
Sucky
the list
movie
goes
this
on and on.
is.
This is shockingly bad special effects here, Jason. It is shocking that a film of this budget, and I tell you what, the production value in this movie is there. And there are several times they could have cut out shots and should have refinanced a new special effects house because it's the problem. This movie is such a disaster, really, is there's no buy-in with those characters. The only person who's buying that they're aliens are 5-year-old kids at best. At best.
I'd say maybe a quarter of the 5-year-old kids. The rest of them are like, what the heck is this crap? Did the aliens just have no bones? Because they kept getting
or genitalia.
Yeah, well, obviously, but they kept getting. Thank goodness, God, could you imagine if they had just gone that far? And you know, somebody's like, they gotta have a wang at some point or another. You gotta give them boobies. We gotta give them something. Like, no, pal, we're not gonna do that. My God, we're already making a McDonald's, Coca-Cola alien movie. Spielberg's gonna sue us. No, did the aliens have no bones though? They were always getting sucked into the tiniest things like vacuum cleaners and space probes, and they never explained the thing. I didn't know if they were all just like spongy, or were they invertebrates, or did they break every bone in their body when they got in there? Were they just in an imaginable pain? Is that why Mac always looked like this?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, no, I think it's them. I think they're able to do it. But here's the problem. I'm going to keep going on about this. It's not only the bad, puppeteering head that they've got and the skin tight thing. Their body movements freak me out.
Yeah.
Like it's just nothing is comfortable about them at all. There's nothing endearing about them.
Look at my smooth crotch. Yeah. I'm just glad they didn't.
Anyway. So this film starts. So if you want to know what the plot of this film is, just watch E.T. They'll pretty well give you the same plot.
Watch E.T. with the sound off and just like imagine what you think the movie would be like, and that's it.
Yeah. Look, the performances generally in this film, if we're going to get into performances, are pretty good. Sure, the main lead.
Are they though?
The main lead needed some better line readings, but his young friend, she was great. Yeah. The brother was pretty poor. In fact, the only one decent in that family was the mum, now I think of it.
But she was just a shrew, though, and she was simultaneously the meanest, nicest mom and dumb as a brick. Just walking into I think it was the garage that the alien terraforms. She walks in, there's sand on the floor, everything's been rearranged, there's bugs and plants and everything, and she looks at the kid in the wheelchair and said, "Did you do this?"
And no further questions.
Yeah. It's like, I can't believe you did this, little Timmy. But Mom, it wasn't me.
I can't believe my wheelchair-bound son was able to dig up all this flora and fauna and plant it in our lounge room.
Did you bring in 4,000 pounds of sand to put into our house? My gosh, how dare you, little Timmy? I don't even know his name.
The kid's name, just forgettable. I honestly, everything about this is just so manipulative in its way that we're supposed to... Okay, we've got a kid in a wheelchair, so the audience we've got immediate buy-in now. The audience is going to love it because he's a kid in a wheelchair, and you can't hate a kid in a wheelchair.
I did.
Nothing
against the actor. Nothing against the actor. We know he's actually disabled, but my God, this kid was annoying. This kid was terrible.
He was annoying.
I was rooting for the ravine.
How long does it take in this film for us to even get these guys together, to get Mac with the family? It's a good 45, 50 minutes, Jason. And this film drags. Well, drags in the first act. Something rotten.
Well, technically, they are kind of together for a very long time, but the characters are too stupid to know it because Mac is doing this weird, like, M. Night Shyamalan's Last Airbender thing where he's, like, always behind them, and every time they turn around, he's not there, and it's not
Mm.
even, like, done good. The
Well,
older brother with the sunglasses, he puts on the sunglasses, he sees the alien, he takes them off, the alien's gone. Alien? Not alien. Alien? Not alien. What's going on?
no follow-up.
Yeah.
Again, there's just like his mother, no follow-up
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Well,
And
I'm
then
thinking the
still
brother
goes
was
and
on
denies
drugs.
its existence.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah,
brother's
maybe.
on drugs and just was kinda like, "Oh my god, I need to
I
cut
wish
back."
I was watching it.
Oh my god, I know.
It's,
A little
yeah.
bit of morphine
But
would
look,
be nice.
let's look at some of the positives, right? Some of the positives of this film. And it's really not about what we see, it's more about they got some big names behind this. And number one, and you mentioned it to me too, and you can hear it. And it's so out of place because it's so far superior to any of the visuals,
Okay,
is
whenever
Alan Silvestri
when
doing the
I
music.
saw his name on IMDb while I was watching this movie, I think I laughed for like 15 minutes because I think this would have been the movie he scored right after Predator, where we were
It
singing his praises, talking about, wow, this score is just amazing. He's going on to great things. He went on to Mac and Me.
it's not his fault, and I'm sure he got paid very well to do this
You
because
know what?
why would do this?
He didn't slum it. He did
No,
not slum it. This movie's score is really good.
it's way better than the rest of this production.
The
Way better.
Yeah, I don't I was watching this movie just thinking, okay, if it was not for the score, this movie would be worthless. But I'm just sitting there listening to the score and this, da, 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 da. Like this is so good. Oh my god, that puppet is terrifying, but this score is so good. Oh, Silvestri, I'm so
But the
sorry.
production value is big in this, you know? Like there's a shot about halfway through the film. It's because there are three montages in the second half, mind you. Three
No.
music cues, three montages. And the montage where they're driving in the van is all helicopter shots. So I'm watching this useless scene of a car driving down the whole highway for about 2 minutes. And all I'm thinking at the time is you could have saved money and sent it to the special effects people. They needed the cash
Yeah.
because that is an absolute waste.
You could have stood on top of a building and just filmed them as they went by. I mean, come on. It's like, I guess they just thought, yeah, we're gonna get some of that ET windfall, and yeah, enough confused parents
Six
are gonna
years
get into
later,
this.
though,
Yeah,
6 years later, you
hey,
think
these are
everyone
Hollywood
still
execs.
loves ET.
These are Hollywood execs. They are not smart people.
Definitely
I'm
not. And not smart. Definitely not smart because I hired this first time director, Stuart Raphael. No offense, Stuart, but this ain't great, and I think you would agree. But and you also did get an award for this, being a raspberry reward award,
I love
the Razzies for best director, worst director as they call it.
it.
But yeah, it's and that's the problem. If you've got a director who really doesn't know what they're doing, and they have a lot of money, for this film to make this film because they could have done it for half the cost. You've got to keep a close eye on them because we're getting just useless scenes in this. There's a lot of filler, and everything else that isn't filler in this movie is a goddamn rip-off of ET, and it's offensively ripping it off, Jason. Down to Skittles, like replacing the M&M, the footprints on the floor, on the bike. It's not a bike, it's a wheelchair this time, all right? And instead of the blanket around the head, we have a scarf going over his head
Oh,
in the chase scene.
they knew what they were doing. They knew it.
Ah,
Quite honestly, if they just turned this into a comedy, just like a straight up airplane-like comedy, it might have worked.
Well, that's
It
why I
might have worked.
prefaced it earlier in saying this is not a parody, and nor this is a homage. This is a pure, blatant corporate ripoff. And yeah, it's yeah. And normally I'm kind of okay because it's a little bit subversive, but this is not subversive. This is they legit thought they had a hit on their hands, and I'm sure there are still pits of all the Mac and Me toys sitting in the bottom of a pit somewhere when McDonald's started making them. You know,
right next door to the landfill with all the ET game cartridges, which is super ironic and fitting, to be perfectly honest.
Ugh, you know, absolutely. And oh, the end of this film
Oh
is
my!
when I literally wanted to pick up my phone and throw it at the effing screen, dude.
Which part?
Because
Which part?
oh,
Because there's
right at
multiple.
the end.
Like,
No, it's
where they
literally when
threaten the
become
audience.
citizens.
Yeah, yeah.
No, when they become citizens, I
Oh,
think is
okay,
just
okay.
why that bothered me so much is so they're naked, totally appropriately for this entire film, and then they're dressed for it. But I suppose me freaking out on that is going back to the scene prior. And the scene that I'd wished that had killed the main kid is when they blow up and probably kill dozens of people
Oh yeah.
in an explosion of a mall.
Oh, my absolute favorite part of this movie, where I was rolling in laughter, is where the alien simply takes the gun away from the cop. Doesn't like knock him down or anything. He just goes, got your gun. And then he's like waving the gun around, firing it indiscriminately. And then the older brother runs out and goes, "No, he's not gonna hurt you." And the alien's out there with the gun, bang, 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 bang. He's not
With the
gonna
cop
hurt
zero
you.
response. The cop's doing nothing about it.
No, oh no, he has my gun. What do I do?
I'm telling you what, you know how I would re-edit this film? The moment that giant explosion comes and what looks like to see the kid in the wheelchair engulfed by flames, that's when you roll credits.
Yeah, that would have been hilarious.
The aliens killed him.
That would have been hilarious. It would have taken the movie from a 1 to at least a 4 if they'd ended the movie with Eric's death. Eric, that was his name. They screamed it so many times. It finally came to me.
Or if you stay a scene later, and when they're surrounding him and they look like they're trying to save him, they turn into cannibalistic monsters.
They take out their little straws and
they suck all his blood out.
What are they doing? Don't worry, they won't hurt him. He's dead. They won't hurt him.
No. So yeah, these boneless, mindless, dumb aliens never found a way to my heart in this film. Not once did I connect with them. I really struggled to connect with anybody in this film, except I will say I will stand by the little girl who was friends with Eric. I thought she was solid. She was the only one who I liked in this movie. The rest of them, garbage, Jason. Absolute garbage.
So, Jennifer Aniston
So I'm
is
going
in
to
this
breathe
movie.
now. What was that?
Jennifer Aniston is in this movie.
Where? Is she in the McDonald's scene?
She is an uncredited extra sitting on a curb watching the dancers in the McDonald's parking lot. Jennifer freaking Friends Aniston is in this movie. I wonder if it's on her resume.
She's at the point now she probably proudly does have it on her resume.
I would.
Yeah.
That'd be how I'd open up conversations like, "Hi, I'm Jason. I was in Mac and Me." What's Mac and Me? Oh, I have it here on DVD. We're watching it. Everyone get off the TV. Oh my God, he's going to make us watch Mac and Me again.
But it is an example also of how good a director Steven Spielberg is. Because if you see this and then you watch E.T. and you see similar scenes playing out, there's just level of expertise that Spielberg is able to produce in his movies that these people just did not have. I mean, even down to the FBI agents literally being slapstick buffoons, Jason, through the shopping mall. Whoa, I'm slipping over. Like, come on.
Did you know that somebody interviewed Spielberg one time and asked him if he was considering legal action against Mac and Me? And he responded, no, he didn't want anyone to believe that he thought there was that much similarity between Mac and Me and his movie to the point that they would actually go see Mac and Me.
And this was a heavily promoted film, of course. You know, there were ads for this all over the place.
I remember the ads. The only reason I do want to back up and say the only reason why I saw this in theaters was because at the time I had a cousin who worked in a movie theater. And whenever I would stay with my aunt and my uncle and him, I would go with him to work and I'd watch movies for free all the time. I saw Bill and Ted's
Sweet.
Excellent Adventure like 5 times in one day. I
Wow.
also
That's awesome.
watched No Holds Barred with Hulk Hogan, or at least 20 at least
5
20 minutes
times?
of it before I went somewhere else. And then whenever night came around, I watched Pet Sematary over and over and over again. And
Oh, yeah. It's
then there was one showing of Mac and Me, and I thought, I want to see something different.
definitely different.
And I watched that whole
Definitely
thing because it wasn't
Yeah.
Bill and Ted, it wasn't Pet Sematary, and it wasn't No Hold Barred. It was something different, and I just thought, wow, this is garbage.
This is horse manure.
It
Now,
is
horse
bad.
manure can be very valuable sometimes. It helps grow plants, so it's less than. It is slug excrement. This is truly a film that, like I said, I legit felt offended about, felt angry about. And in a weird, twisted way, Jason, I kind of love it because it's done that to me. Because I'm so homogenized with just entertainment that never bad, never good, just middling. To actually have something on the extreme is like I'm actually feeling something for a change. But and it's a weird thing where I'm a sadist. I would recommend people see this just so they have had the experience.
I think everybody should purposely watch bad movies just so they don't become snobs. I will say I don't have quite the venomous hatred that you do. I just see it more as a curiosity than anything else. I don't see anything super offensive about it. To me,
I think
it's
it's
just
the corporate, yeah.
it's just
the blatant corporate materialism in it is
I think
really
that
pissing me
Mac and
off.
Me is an ocean of generic corporate ideas melding together and evaporating, leaving a crusty crystalline seabed of just dumb ideas. Just absolutely dumb, unmanageable ideas. And to me, it's fascinating. It is
Yeah.
fascinating
Well, I
what
tell you
this
what,
movie became.
the fact that the studio, and maybe they did do this, the fact that the studio head didn't immediately ask for an order on the expense sheets for this film. Because this is the thing, Jason. It had a giant budget for that time. Yet you had B grade movies being produced for $1 million and less that had better special effects and better plots. Like throughout the 80s, en masse. So there is no excuse for this film except it is the corporate way of McDonald's and Coca-Cola teaming up to make a film that they think is just going to print money for them and getting it so dreadfully wrong.
That they did. I will not disagree with you there. This was stupid. I have no other word for it. The entire decision-making process that led to the creation of this motion picture was stupid. Absolutely stupid. I would never wish hardship on my fellow human beings, but I do hope that a lot of people lost their jobs over this debacle.
Oh my. Oh my. I think, to go back to a film we watched last week, it feels like Mac and Me is like if they ended up making that Predator with Jean-Claude Van Damme, like
And
the
the
bad puppet.
and the monkey.
And the monkey. Like, essentially, this film should have stopped at the moment of the development of the aliens. I don't know with anyone with 2 clear eyeballs would not be creeped out by them.
No, they're super creepy.
Giant eyes, anus for a mouth, no
Naked.
nose, Yoda ears, naked.
And to me, they don't.
Nothing about that is cute.
They honestly, every single one of the adult aliens look like naked septuagenarians, just like skinny and wrinkly, and just like, ugh, what is that? Where is that supposed to be? I don't think that's supposed to be there.
And let's go. I mean, there's still more. Like this thing. We're supposed to be all
My diamond. Oh, sorry.
If they did that once, the whistle effect, yeah. The whistle effect, which I didn't mind. I didn't mind the fact they were able to communicate long distances.
Well, that's with a mouth that looks like an anus,
Yeah.
Not all you can do.
Really,
It's not like you
all
go,
about whistling.
can you tell me where I can go and get a phone? I have to phone home.
But yeah.
Hello, operator. Can you connect me to Uranus?
I'm going to be
Oh,
I'm going to be dealing with the trauma of watching this. Maybe I just wasn't in the right frame of mind, but I'm even angrier today than I was last night watching it. For a while. For a while. This is just a hot mess. Hot mess. And I love B grade films. But the thing is, this is a grade film telling the audience I'm an A grade film, but being a C grade film.
I want to go watch the Mystery Science Theater version of this movie. There is a Mystery Science Theater version. I didn't know that, which surprises me because I love Mystery Science Theater, but they did do this movie. I want to go watch it just because I want to go see what the bots have to say about it. I don't know which host did it. I don't know if it was Joel or Mike or those other guys, but yeah, I want to see it. I want to see it.
Yeah. Well, I will never watch this effing movie for the rest of my life. So I'm glad we're done with it. And I wholly feel that I have been hoisted on my own petard with this film.
Yes, indeed.
I'm the one who suggested
you
it.
were quite petarded for picking out this movie.
Very petarded.
Yes.
But anyway, I'm not next week, Jason. I'm not next week.
Are you sure about that?
I'm sure because we are back in the Predator game.
Yes.
Predator 2.
Yes, that's the second one.
It's the second one.
I can't wait to see. This is whenever Arnold Schwarzenegger returns to the city, returns to civilization, and turns into a black cop who is way too old for this kind of stuff.
Honestly, they wanted him, and we'll talk about it more next week, and they couldn't get him. But
he was a busy man.
But that has serviced the franchise well, in my opinion, now.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that we don't have repeat characters.
Yep.
On point. All right, well, we'll be talking about that a lot next week. And I really like to hear what the guys thought about this film. Am I just angry Australian today? Are there genuine Mac and Me fans? Are they? Do they exist? We don't know. So please send us a message. The other thing is, Jason, I think the audience needs to, if they've stayed long enough to watch this, then I think they're prepared to commit more to us and commit more to seeing what great movies and horrible movies we're going to do in the future. And how do they do that, Jace?
Well, if you would like to know how to do that, let me tell you how you're going to do that. First of all, you purse your lips like this, and then you whistle just like that. If that doesn't do anything, then please check out the video description below and check out our Patreon where you can support this channel for $5 a month or more. You can also become a channel member and get our videos early. If you are a channel member, as a matter of fact, you're about to get a buttload of videos because I got a lot coming your way, baby. A lot coming your way. I got an extra soda heading your way, so you just
all that content is all oiled up, ready to slide right in.
Absolutely. You won't have to shove straws into rocks because it's about to come spewing in your direction. But yes, please do so. And I'm sorry if I just creeped you out. I don't know what happened. It's all part of my dealing with the trauma of this movie. I'm currently erasing it from my brain. And so I do lose some other things, such as adjectives. I don't know exactly how to feel about that other than just quiz kabunk.
We'll see you next time, guys. Is this where we do the end screen bit here now? Do I still put that up in the future?
Uranus.